If I can make you wet. Let's go.
Wait,
Let's go.
I underestimate. I think you spent 45 minutes in hopes makeup chair.
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes?
5 minutes. I've got every arena that I go to when I got to drab on something, it don't take me more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It don't matter. I leave the beauty to other people. I don't try to look as good.
Well, you should work on your eyebrows a little more.
Maybe I should.
The eyebrows look alright. I feel like I'm complimenting you guys too much lately, but both these looks, they're nice. Looking clean.
I think I'm doing all right.
Oh gosh, enough. Bernard Hopkins is going to join us later. I don't know if he gets his eyebrows done. Don't miss that. But we kick things off with America's team. Showtime's Inside the NFL ran the sound yesterday of Tony Romo on the field after the Cowboys lost to the Patriots. This was an injured Tony Romo, of course, saying to Brady, "See you in February." Confident Romo, Skip. Are you okay with this bold statement by your guy?
Stephen A. Smith, I must admit, I would have liked it a lot more if Tony Romo had actually been wearing shoulder pads, which would have indicated that he actually played in the football game that had just ended on the field. And obviously, Tony Romo can't play a lick of a real game until November 22nd. That seems like a long time away. It's a game at Miami, and that's only if the Cowboys feel like they need him to risk quick re-injury of his broken collarbone, because it's possible, which I've acknowledged, that with the backup quarterbacks, my Cowboys could fall to 2-7 by that point, and I have a fear that Jerry Jones would say, do we even need to take a shot at this at that point? It will all depend, obviously, on Dez's ability to heal a lot faster than we think that he might be able to heal. So, now, back to your question. I like Tony Romo's newfound confidence. I like the message that I think he was trying to send to his teammates, which is basically for them to sit back and say, my goodness, our quarterback, our injured quarterback, went up to Tom Brady, sort of a la Richard Sherman a few years ago back in Seattle, and trash-talked him right to his face.
Mad bro.
Slapped him on the, that's exactly what it was. Slapped him on the shoulder pads and said, hey, see you in February. Wow. Our quarterback did that, so I kind of like that message, but I got to tell you, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always honest about my Cowboys, whether you think so or not. It came off as a little weird and a lot awkward. That's what it came off. It was awkward. And it felt like Tony Romo had rehearsed it in front of the mirror. Like he'd sort of, okay, I'm going to say it like this. Like he had really planned to walk up to Tom Brady and utter that line. And the embarrassing part about it was that Tom Brady pretty much just ignored it. Gave him a little, who are you now?
That's Brady. Who are you?
Okay. And then he turned his full attention to Brandon Weeden and warmly shook Brandon Weeden's hand because Brandon Weeden had actually played in the football game. Didn't play very well, got his butt kicked, but still, at least he played, and Tom was willing to honor that by shaking his hand warmly. So, Stephen A. Smith, I am hanging in with my Super Bowl prediction. Obviously, as you saw that sound, on that day, did I have any idea I was going to lose my quarterback and my best receiver and the best receiver in pro football? I had no idea. So I'm clinging to my Super Bowl prediction because I need Matt Castle to win a couple of games. I don't need this team to be 2-7 when Romo returns. If you give me 4-5 when he comes back, I got a chance. And I'm going to say this one last time. If Romo does return and this team gets 100% healthy and hot and manages to just eke into the backside of the playoffs in the last playoff spot as a wild card, NFL, you better look out because here would come my Cowboys. We've seen lots of teams do it as the road wild card team, starting with Aaron Rodgers back in, what was that, like 1888 or when was that? That was like decades ago when he pulled off his Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers did it. Tony Romo is fully capable of doing it because this team always plays better on the road. So I would love my chances as a road wildcard team. I just need to get in the tournament, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to pull this off. Your thoughts?
See the story?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that what you recall? Is this accurate? This is accurate. Well, Tony Romo basically slapping Tom Brady on the chest affectionately, as Tom Brady basically pretty much looks like he's.
I don't think it was affectionate. I think he was trying to get his attention. Look at me.
So in other words, Tom Brady was ignoring him, correct?
He ignored him.
Okay. I wonder why that might be. It's interesting that you bring this stuff up because you see, I understand you, like Cowboy Nation, the typical pathetic Cowboy fans that you are. no sense of reality whatsoever, living in fantasy land.
Wow.
In the past, thinking that this is 1995 or 1992 or 93. Just the way that
Those
you
were the
all are.
years.
Those were the years. Those were the days. You know,
I was there.
You know what? I remember.
Yeah, it was great.
Listen. I remember when Sanford and Son was out, and it was a beautiful. It was a special day.
Stop.
I remember when Archie Bunker was out, and with Edith trying to sing with that voice. I remember those days. I remember the Jeffersons.
Well, that was their song.
I remember good times. I remember a lot of things from the past.
Mm-hmm.
It was incredibly affectionate. It was a beautiful thing to see. I still watch it from time to time and reminisce about the good old days because it's special. But at the end of the day, when I get up in the day and I go about the business of conducting my day, I have to live in reality.
Okay.
And the reality of the situation is that picture of Tom Brady and Tony Romo was a metaphor for what actually transpires, what actually should be the reality that you and the pathetic Cowboy Nation out there should obviously accept. That is that you're not relevant. Don't come to me, shake my hand, and continue to move on. Whether you're wearing a sling or not, you're really not that relevant. You're not that relevant because I'm the reigning defending Super Bowl champion, and on top of it all, I've got 4 Super Bowl championships on my resume.
Yeah.
You guys haven't had a Super Bowl championship in 20 years. You got a quarterback that's in his 10th year that's had a grand total of 2 playoff victories. Do you understand that you actually...
Wait, he's got 3. Got one at Green Bay.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, sorry.
Do you understand? Let me put it in this proper perspective for that pathetic Cowboy Nation. Yes, I said it for the 3rd time. That Cowboy Nation out there. Do you understand that in order to win 1 Super Bowl championship, you have to win a minimum of 3 playoff games?
Mm-hmm.
Just to win 1 Super Bowl. He hasn't won 3 in 10 years. 3 playoff games in 10 years.
Okay.
You need to win 3 in 1 year to capture a Super Bowl. He hasn't won 3 in 10 years.
And your
3
point
playoff
is?
games. What I'm saying to you is that at some point in time, you must understand that the only reason your Cowboys are relevant, the only reason we can talk about them on the show, the only reason Cowboy Nation is relevant is because y'all are interested in popularity. You understand? Not actual substantive value. The Dallas Cowboys, as it pertains to winning, as of yet, have no substantive value. Now, they are coming off 12-4 season. They did win the NFC East. We do understand respectfully that Tony Romo and Des Bryant are out. And if they were healthy, Skip Bayless, these Cowboys would not be 2-3. They would likely be somewhere around the 4-1, maybe. Possibly 5-0, but definitely
Possibly 5-0.
Definitely at least 4-1. I'll give you that.
Yes.
But the reality is that over the course of 20 years, there are a multitude of things that have gone wrong with the Cowboys. There have been injuries. There have been suspensions. There have been just ineptitude. Okay, there has been a hype machine that was too hype and didn't validate its own hype. There are a multitude of reasons, but in the end, what it comes down to is that the Cowboys, you and Cowboy Nation, need to face the reality that the only reason they are relevant is because of you all with your pom-poms waving them on, thinking that they're going to be something that they're not as of yet. They're just some regular old team. They just got the star in their helmet with the owner with the $1 billion plate.
Were they last year a
Only thing
regular
special.
old team?
Well, you know, they were one of the playoff teams last year.
Oh.
They were one of the playoff teams.
Who won the
Yes,
East?
well, doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me.
Well, it mattered
Doesn't
on that day you had to wear that.
Doesn't matter. That day, listen, that clock is right twice a day. They got me that day.
Right all last
They
year.
got me that way.
Clock
They got me that way.
all last year, all the way through the
All I'm
season.
trying to say to you is that at some point in time, it's not your fault. You are a victim. You have been contaminated.
Victim?
You have been
I'm the leader
contaminated.
of it.
You have been contaminated by Cowboy
He's a
Nation.
villain.
Okay? You are a victim.
I'm the head of Cowboy
blame you.
Nation.
I don't even blame you. Let me tell you something.
I set the tone for it.
You know what? All I ask is that everybody recognizes that as much as you hate them, as much as you love the Cowboys, I despise them because of Cowboy Nation. The worst fans in America, as far as I'm concerned, are the Cowboys. That's right, I said it. Cowboy fans. You know why? Because y'all don't deal with reality. Cowboy Nation is irrelevant. Cowboy Nation really should. They they don't deserve to be discussed by us only because of you, and I'm gonna roll with it. But all you're doing is jinxing yourself and dooming yourself. All you're doing is setting the stage for a bunch of excuses for you to be depressed when they fall flat on their face. And at some point in time, America will stand up. And other than the Steelers fan, even the Raider fans, the Patriot fans, and the Giants fans, everybody will rise up and say, you know something? Bump Cowboy Nation. Y'all haven't been irrelevant. I know what you do. It's FCC.
You're a role model.
But there we go. So the point that I'm trying to make to you, the point that I believe I am. I believe I am. But I'm here to tell you, I can't stand the Cowboys because of your fan base, because y'all don't live in reality. Every week you think like the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Y'all haven't done anything, and that's the problem.
Did they fall on their face last year? Help me out. No, they did not.
No.
All year long.
They just lost at the end.
But they did. Did they fall on their face?
No.
Did they embarrass themselves?
They did not.
Was it a shameful performance at Lambeau Field,
No.
where they got robbed because we all know it was a catch?
Do you realize?
Back me up, Cowboy
Do
Nation.
you realize that if the Cowboys had beat the Eagles on Thanksgiving Day, do you realize that the Cowboys would have had home field advantage, and that catch that wasn't a catch, that call would not have been made against. I'm saying it wouldn't have been made against them.
We were lucky to beat
It wouldn't have
Detroit
been made against them. All I'm trying to say to you is this: like I said, I listen. It's not just your fault. I go on my radio show. It doesn't matter what subject I'm discussing.
Yep.
The Cowboy fans call up all the time. They just sit there. They lie to my producers. They lie to my producers to get on the line because they want to talk about their useless team, okay, who hasn't won a Super Bowl in 20 years. All I ask, could you get to a Super Bowl? Could you at least visit? Could you at least show us what Roger Staubach showed us, what Troy Aikman showed us, what Tony Dorsett showed us, what Tall Jones showed us, what Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith showed us? Could you at least do that? Could you do that? I know Cowboy. I know we all know those names. But over the last 20 years, the only reason we know Romo is because he messed up so much before he became relevant. And of course, Des Bryant is a stud. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about
I
it.
have to make one quick point.
I'm just saying.
Sure.
Cowboy Nation is relevant because it's the biggest, baddest, most loyal nation in all of sports. And you're going to have to swallow that and accept it because it's just the truth. They are America's team because they have the most fans of any team in any sport in the world, spread all over the world. Cowboy international nation.
Let me tell you something. Cowboy fans are pathetic because they're boring and they're predictable. Because they're predictable.
Because they hang out with their team?
No, because everyone knows what they're going to say. You lose by 40. You lose by 4. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Oh, we got cheated. Oh, it was a bad day. Oh, you know what? We'll be back next week. That's been the story for 20 years. You don't live, most, not all, because there are exceptions to every rule, not all, but most Cowboy fans don't live in reality. Y'all are nauseating. You continuously force people to want to throw up because we're tired of talking about y'all because y'all haven't won anything yet. Win something, please.
Now, back to the original question that this woman asked us.
I thought I answered that.
No, you did not, because I answered it to start with. Help me out here, Molly. Did I say go, Tony, go in my answer?
No.
No, I did not. I said I do have a problem with it. It came off as weird and awkward. And then you're accusing me of having no objectivity about my Dallas
You know why?
Cowboys?
Because you only say that because you're worried that it'll get in the way of your ultimate goal. So you meticulously dissect anything that somebody says if it gets in the way of your ultimate agenda, which is to ensure that you facilitate the Dallas Cowboys. Let me tell the world how awful you are as a fan. Does Skip want the best against the best? Not at all. Let me finish. If it don't matter who it is, if Brady or Rodgers or anybody else had to go down and get hurt for the Dallas Cowboys to win, Skip would wish that. Skip doesn't want to wish harm on
I
anybody.
want Tom Brady to go down.
You don't want anybody to get hurt.
Anyone but Tom Brady.
What I'm saying to you is this.
And that's
Me,
fantastic.
I'm a Ric Flair fan. Whoa! To beat a man, you've got to beat the man.
Yeah.
I think like that. You, on the other hand, if there was accident accidents, if there was a flu,
So
if there was a flu virus going around, whatever it took to facilitate your team winning, you would do it.
You know what?
How does it go there?
Truth. Well, want to know the truth of what happened?
I'm just hyped. Yeah.
When that rookie from Philadelphia
Yeah.
went out of his way to crush Tony Romo's shoulder into the turf in Philadelphia, I can't remember his name, Justin Hicks.
Who cares?
Texas. Well, it was a cheap shot, and he
Remember
admitted
that.
it. He admitted after the game,
Right.
I attacked him, okay? But when that happened, and then obviously that followed Des Bryant taking one little wrong step and his little toe breaks, whatever you call it, a Jerry Jones fracture, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A. Smith, somewhere after the show, was dancing. He was dancing in front of his mirror somewhere because
Doing
he
his
got
eyebrows.
he was getting his eyebrows done so they could dance up and down. Because you got the two biggest breaks you've ever gotten in your career. Because my Super Bowl prediction was so dead on that this team was going to roll through the NFC and probably would have had, maybe unfortunately for me, home field advantage through the playoffs. That's how loaded and talented this team is. But you're the one who got the break, and now you're all giddy, and now you're attacking Cowboy Nation because to be the best, you didn't have to beat the best.
Excuse me.
That's what just happened.
Excuse me. Do I look giddy?
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You have been
look
giddy.
Let me explain.
You were giddy in your answer.
Let me explain
Yeah,
something.
you're up on your soapbox
No,
because
let
you
me-
got two huge.
Once again,
Right.
this is just strategy. You want to interrupt me because you don't want me to say what I want to say.
I'm the one who talks
Yes,
too
yes,
much.
yes. I let you talk.
Oh.
I talk a lot, but
You
I don't
let me
interrupt
talk?
you.
That's what I'm
Please,
saying.
That's it. I let you talk. Yes, I do.
For the
Let
record,
me say this
and
to you.
I'm upset.
Let me tell you this. I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on. I'm
Okay.
sick of your pathetic Cowboys. So here's the deal. I am the kind of person, I want the fall to be precipitous. I want the fall. I don't want you to fall off the curb.
Yeah.
I want you to fall off the mountain.
Like a Six Flags.
Yes, nothing, absolutely nothing would please me. See, you go on week to week. Nothing would please me more than to watch Tony Romo and them ball out, run through the NFC, run through the playoffs, and everybody's hyped. And then the Super Bowl comes, and then you know what? They got the game in hand, and then Tony Romo throws a pick six to lose the Super Bowl. I mean, that's the kind of epic stuff I'm talking about.
I would take it. I'd take it right now.
But see, that's the difference. What I'm saying to you is, I don't want the Cowboys to lose during the regular season and be irrelevant. What's fun is there in that? I don't want that. I don't want them to sit there and go into the playoffs and you know what? Oh, you know, they just stink up the joint so easily. No, I want your hopes elevated. I want you gung ho about them. I want you bragging about them. I want you hyped about them. And right around the time that no one anticipates they collapse, boom. That to me is more enjoyable than them losing during the regular season.
You know what?
I'm mad they losing now. I want them to win now.
You want to know why your logic is so terribly flawed for your own benefit? If that happens, if my Cowboys do get to the Super Bowl, what do you have to do? For the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, you have to wear Cowboy paraphernalia.
Let me be very
Am I right?
Let me be very clear. I would lose a lot of weight that week because I'd be throwing up a lot because it would make me sick.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. What would make up for all of it is what I just described.
Okay.
If they rolled up in the Super Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys have the lead. They just need to run out the clock. They're about to win a Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden somebody fumbles or throws a pick six. That would be so beautiful. I must admit to you, it would be a lot of fun.
But by then, you would have thrown up so much you'd be down to like 96 pounds at that point because you would have had the 2 worst weeks of your career, if not your life. Am I right about that? You would have to laud and applaud my Cowboys for 2 whole weeks.
I think I'm having it now, man, having to talk about these boys because I got to tell you, they haven't done anything. We all know they're going to, at best, you're going to be 3-6. So you're gonna be 3-6.
I'll take 4 and 5.
Coming into the Miami game.
I don't know.
You're gonna be 3-6. You're gonna lose at least 4 to the next 5 games, or 3 of your next 4 games rather. That's just the way that it's going to be. That's life. We understand it. It is what it is. Call me when the Cowboys become relevant again, because at this moment in time, they're just not.
Molly, I'm sorry, but in a rare instance on the show, I'm going to have to amend my opening answer to your first question.
Sure.
Okay? I now changed my answer about how I feel about what Tony Romo did yesterday on Sunday.
Yes.
I loved it. You know why? I'm going to say, to use your word, bump objectivity here.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I want him to do it again and again because we are going to go to the Super Bowl and we are going to lose to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I stand by my prediction because you have hit my deepest button on this issue and you are going to pay for it, my friend.
Last time Cowboys made anybody pay for anything, I can't even recall. You know, they're irrelevant.
Yeah.
They're only relevant to you in Cowboys Nation.
Yeah. Well,
You know, Cowboy Nation, my last thing, Cowboy Nation is pathetic. I said it. Okay? Unrealistic and pathetic because of it. That's what I said. Jerry Jones are hoodwinked y'all. Y'all look like y'all been hypnotized for crying out loud. It's just embarrassing. It really is. Nothing relevant.
hang in, Cowboy Nation.
What else?
Can you take your badge off? That is throwing me off the whole show. Everyone knows who you are. You really need that?
I don't know who he is half the time.
I'm not thinking anybody's, I'm sorry.
There-
My bad.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
It's throwing me off. We all know who you are.
Why do you wear it on your...
Because I got to get in and out through the building, man.
I thought you had escorts.
No, I don't.
Stephen A. Smith, the Roma.
I don't have escorts.
All right. Up next, we're talking a little Tom Brady. Some Hall of Fame quarterbacks had some things to say about him. We'll tell you what they said. That's after